That's for the week of August 5th, 2019, and this is where we get a little in-depth of
That's right.
how the week's going to go, prognostications, maybe break down what some of this stuff means as far as jargon and stuff like that.
I love that kind of talk.
What you got there, miss? Good
Well,
morning.
Mercury, the most important thing this week is that Mercury, the planet of communication, has stopped its backward motion. 3 times a year it appears to stop its forward motion and go backwards, and when it does, it just destroys communications. The axiom is bound to be done over again, bound to be repeated, miscommunication, misunderstandings, everything goes wrong. You think you have a deal, you think you have an apartment. Turns out, yeah, no, we're lying, you did not. So fortunately for us, that has finally gone direct. We don't have to worry about it until the middle of the end of the year. So the important thing to know is that it started out moving backwards in Leo, but then it backed into the sign of Cancer. So it's in the sign of Cancer. Things really don't get straightened out, although they start to go forward. They don't really start to get really great until it gets to the place where it originally went backwards in Leo. So, but for the next week, I thought it was important to know this week where Mercury is going to be in your chart, and it's where you can begin to straighten things out that have gone awry.
That's what I was
over
going to
the
ask.
last
So
3 weeks or so.
if you've gotten into, let's just say you get into an argument with somebody and there's
Right.
a misunderstanding, can you go back to that
Yes,
same
you can.
conversation
Yes,
with that
yeah,
person?
you can now, and have a much clearer understanding and say, here's what you heard, but here's what I meant to say. And it'll give you an ability to go back and sort of redo what was done if you're open-minded about it. which is
Do-over
the important thing.
season.
I
Love
do.
that.
I like do-overs. I really do. I don't think they're a bad thing.
So I've got an example maybe. So I had I've got a neighbor. She's a really nice neighbor. She smokes cigarettes under me. All right. I've got my door open, and I want to be able to hang out on my porch, but I don't want to tell her she can't smoke on her balcony because it's her balcony.
It is.
But I want to bring up to let her know that I can smell the smoke, and how can I maybe, is there
I would
a
ask
good
her
way
not-
of solving
yeah,
that conversation?
Actually, there
Yeah.
is. There's a good way to approach that and say, look, I know you have absolutely the right to smoke on your balcony, and I would never stop you from doing that. However, could you put a little fan there
Yeah.
that would blow the smoke away from coming up directly into my balcony? Because I'm very sensitive to it.
You
Yeah.
could even get her the fan.
I
Yeah.
actually want to recommend maybe a jewel or something to her.
Oh, that'd be good.
Because I think it's obviously unhealthy to smoke, and she's a really nice lady. The conversation seems like it could go south
Yeah.
really quick.
It could go if she feels, because you know how smoke would. I used to be a smoker. And we're very we know it's a bad habit.
Right,
We know
yeah.
it irritates people, and we don't really want to. It's a habit. It's very hard to stop. So you can approach her with, look, you have absolutely the right to do that. I'm not telling you not to. However, I would buy you a jewel if that would work.
Right, yeah.
I will buy you a fan if you can just blow it away because your rights really extend until they run into mine.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
explain to her that the smoke gives you migraines, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if she says no, you could light a pack of cigarettes on fire and just throw it in her apartment while she's not there.
That's
Just saying.
retrograde. That was back where retrograde was.
That's
going
right.
on.
That would be a retrograde thing. But yeah, and if you appeal to her, I need your help.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a very hard thing for people to go, no, I'm not going to help you.
I need your help.
I need your help.
Okay, all right.
And that's with Mercury, the planet of communication, in the sign of Cancer, you'll get a much better result with that.
Okay,
I need
cool.
your help with this. And so for each of the signs, you want to know where that energy is, and what you can do to straighten it out. In your case, in the Leo's case, that's the sign that we're in. Mercury is in Cancer. It's in your 12th house. It's behind the scenes. So you really would have been misunderstood. And that probably
I'm glad,
was.
'cause I was holding off on it. I was like, I don't know if I
That's
should
a
have this.
smart. See, you're a smart man because you wouldn't get anywhere before that.
Right.
And so I think that over the next week or so, you can and there are some other things going on with Leos and women.
Okay.
That women have really misunderstood what the Leo was saying, and that you can straighten a lot of that out. And then the catch with Cancer is because it's represented by a creature that has no vocal cords.
Yep.
It's so the problem with it comes where I thought you would know what I meant. And people go, yeah, we don't know what you meant. We just heard what you said.
Gotcha.
So it's a matter. I think that there are some hurt feelings involved with that.
Okay.
And you can literally by saying, you know what, I'm so insensitive. I don't even know what I did. But whatever it is, I'm really sorry, and I won't
Get a
ever
little
do it
selfless
again.
with it. Yeah, gotcha.
It will get a much better result than being authoritarian, like Leos can be every now and then.
Gotcha.
For Virgo, this energy is in the 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. And Virgos have been trying to tap their friends and colleagues to help, because Virgo is the most manipulative of all of the signs of the zodiac. Virgo runs from the 22nd or so of August to about the 21st or 22nd, depending on the year, of September. And they are the most manipulative of all signs.
I've never met a Virgo I like.
Because we're manipulative.
My best friend's a Virgo, and I hate him.
And Mercury, it's interesting because Gemini and Virgo are attracted to one another because Mercury rules Gemini and it also rules Virgo. So you think, oh, when you first meet them, you go, oh, we're like kindred spirits. And then the Virgo gets really bossy and the Virgo starts telling you what to do. And the Virgo is very critical and very few people respond well to, you know what you're doing wrong?
Right, yeah.
You know, it doesn't ever get a good result.
Also, chatterbox.
Back to the
They would say that about Geminis too, though.
Yeah.
back to the help me out approach to anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would work with that too. But Virgos are trying to get their friends and colleagues to help get the Virgo what the Virgo wants.
Okay.
So and I would not be heavy-handed on it. What I would say is, and here's how it benefits you.
Ah,
You know, it's got to be
nice.
something for you to be able
Yes.
to help me get what I want, but then you get something out of it as well.
Okay.
For Libras, this is in the 10th house of career and public standing. And Libras just really need to keep their head down and just try and stay out of the line of fire. There's professional stuff going on. The Libra has absolutely no ability to impact it. They can't influence it one way or the other. The best thing they can do is just try and hope that they're not gunning for the Libra, that they're gunning for the person above the Libra. And so they've had a lot of misunderstandings, professional misunderstandings, thinking that they were going to get promotions or increases, and it didn't come to be. And the Libra is very unhappy about that.
If
But
this
it's-
was let's say a husband and wife, then is there a situation like maybe the husband says, "Hey, I was going to do this," and now he didn't really go through with it?
Yeah, no, actually not. In this case, it's strictly professional because it's in their 10th house of
okay,
career and
gotcha.
public standing.
So not a personal.
Right, it's not a
professional.
personal thing, it's a professional thing.
Gotcha.
And because they can't influence it, they stand there and go, I need to do something, but I don't know what to do. It's like, in this case, really, you just gotta wait for Mercury to get into Leo, which it does next week, and then the professional shaking will be done, and you can see what side's the winner, and then go with the winner. Because that's the big thing, is not
Becomes
to
clear.
pick, don't wanna pick the losing side on that one. You don't wanna choose poorly.
Right.
For Scorpios, this energy is the 9th house of the law, legal matters, educational matters, important matters of distance, any kind of contracts, any kind of negotiations, have all been very jumbled for the Scorpio for the last month or so. And that begins to change. This week is where they begin to get a better understanding of exactly what is able to be negotiated. And this has to do with if it's a legal thing, you want to find out, can I settle it? It's a good time to try and put a settlement offer in, or take a plea deal if that's, depending on which side of the law you're on.
But try to end it, right?
Try to end it, not take your chances with going to trial, because I don't think it'll have that great a result.
Well, I hear you talking about career. Is it a good week for Scorpio to start a job?
Yeah, it's a good week for a Scorpio to start a job and to be committed to a job. And it's not just a job, but it's something that can lead to a substantial career boost and more money, because Scorpio has Sagittarius, but that happens next week when Jupiter goes direct. But Scorpio this year, their big goal is to make a bunch of money.
Okay.
They reinvented themselves last year. All of last year was new and improved Scorpio. Now that new and improved Scorpio wants to make some money to go along with that.
I
And
fixed
so-
myself, now pay me.
Yes, it's exactly right. And the law's on their side, and when the law's on your side, you don't really need to hit somebody over the head with it. You can be a little more subtle with that.
Here's the law.
Yeah, it's just the law. It's just the way it is. But Scorpio can be very heavy-handed, and this is not a good time for them to be heavy-handed. It's a good time for them to be magnanimous, because when the law's on your side, you don't have to club people with it. It simply is.
Yeah, soften the edges.
A little bit. And for Sagittarians, which is your rising sign,
Right.
it's about the money. Financial matters go very favorably for the Leo. And they have not, for the Sagittarian, and they have not been very favorable for them for the last month or so. It seems that they've had...
Dinked and dunked.
Yeah, it's unanticipated expenses. It's nickels and dimes, nickels here, dimes there. Eventually, that adds up to hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely.
And they're like, well, when's it going to stop? It stopped.
Okay.
And now, whatever you have left, you can count on. And more importantly, there have been things that are pending that were in effect before this retrograde
Okay.
that seemed, and I would think that has to do with, in your case, in particular, sponsors, advertisers, that kind of a thing, where you get better endorsement deals that they've been waiting, I don't know what they've been waiting to see. But it ends up being more money over the next 3 or 4 weeks or so.
In one case, my landlord's been holding up my rent, holding back my rent because of this thing going on with my roof.
Right, and you don't know where you're going to live or what
Yeah.
you're going to do
Yeah.
or who is going to pay for your accommodations.
Exactly. So I'm sure I'll be finding that out pretty
This
soon.
week.
Yeah, this week.
Now that, because I don't think I don't think they had an answer for you before that. They weren't quite sure of the full extent of it.
The
Right,
communications were bad.
Yes,
Now they're
yes.
getting
So now things will be better, and I think you can end up making a couple of bucks off that too,
Well, I wouldn't
for the
throw a rock at that.
inconvenience of it.
Yeah, and it was.
So that's a good thing. But really, the money gods tend to smile on Sagittarius all of this week, which is a cool thing. For Capricorns, it's in the 7th house of open enemies and intimate one-to-one relationships. Capricorns haven't really been sure who is on their side and who isn't on their side. It's been kind of murky for the last 30 days or so. They have new things going on at work. They have new people that they're having to report to, and they're not exactly sure how that is going to go, but they find out this week how it's going to go. And I think that a lot of Capricorns are dealing with younger people, and they're not exactly sure how to do that. And they really need to listen to what the younger person has to say, because there's some interesting information.
Where you normally wouldn't.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
much,
You
right?
go on, you're young, you don't know anything. In this case, they really should listen to what the younger person has to say,
Interesting.
because there's some valuable input that comes with that the Capricorn needs to hear.
Okay.
So, and then for Aquarians, it's in the 6th house of work, health, and responsibilities. Aquarians have been putting off dealing with some sort of a health issue because they haven't really had enough information to go forward with it. They don't know whether should they be really scared or just partially scared. And I don't think they need to be scared at all, which is the good news about this. I think that the energy, they find out that their worst fear is not going to manifest, that it's going to have a lot better outcome than they thought it was going to be. And at least they'll know what their options are and how to go about dealing with it.
Gotcha. It's
And
always
also-
it's always sucks not know exactly where your health is.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and doctors go like, come back in a month, and it's like, so I have to live with a whole month of thinking, and of course we always think the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah, I went to the dermatologist the other day. Before I went to the dermatologist, I started Googling little spots in my body. I was like, oh God.
Oh, my God.
Dude,
I've got real
when I got my tattoo, there was like a little weird bump on my side, and the tattoo artist was like, "That's probably cancer."
Thanks.
Great. Just tattoo, dude.
Yeah,
all right?
exactly. And then they say, here, we'll do a biopsy, we'll let you know. I had a little throat nodule thing,
Yeah.
and so I went in, I had it looked at, and they took a biopsy. A month went by, I did not hear from them. The whole time I'm walking around thinking, I have thyroid cancer, I must be, that's why, no, it was nothing.
I hate that
It was
way.
like, you could have let me know,
Yeah.
like, because they knew a week earlier, and they, for some reason, just didn't tell me, because it was negative.
I
They
guess
didn't
it's
see the imperative to tell you it's negative.
yeah. When you're not about to die, they're like, ah,
no
they
big
can
deal,
wait.
don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
News is
the
good
next
news. No, I want some news either way.
Yeah, can you just tell me so I know what to think? And all of us are like that. It's not the what, it's the how, because the only thing we can really control in our lives is what we choose to think about something.
Yeah.
And if you have enough information, you know the right thing to think. It's when you don't know what it is and you start Googling shit. It's like, oh man, I got this, or I got that, or I got this. Yeah. So for them, and I think also the same thing applies for them with where it is they do their job. Not the job that they do, but where it is they do their job has been in flux. And I think that they find, and that a lot of times is, my company was bought out by another company, am I gonna get to keep my job, or we're relocating, or we're reassigning things, and it makes you very insecure when you don't know. So it's important for them, this week they find out, whether they get to stay, whether they get to go, and
So this isn't just health. It's
yeah, work, health, and responsibilities.
work,
'Cause
health, and responsibility.
when an astrologer is looking to see what is going to happen, the planets tell you what energy is available, the sign of the zodiac tells you the quality of the energy, but where it's going to manifest in my life in particular is based on your rising sign. It's based on what house or affair of life that energy is in. So each different, this is my cheat sheet to all 12 signs.
All right, gotcha. I see you carrying that around. It's your
I do,
playbook
it's my
right
little,
there.
it's my little cheat sheet, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I can look down and see what house or affair of life that energy is going to be, and that's how the astrologer narrows it down. Where
Okay.
psychic can go, it's the 3, and you go, 3 what? 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 hours, 3 years, 3 I don't know, can't tell time. In psychic world, it's like, what good is that? So
Wow.
for me, I want to know not only what is going to happen, when it's going to happen, but where in my life in particular can I expect that to happen?
I mean, you can make it a
Yeah,
tweak, adjustment.
To be able to make
so-
sense out of it.
Okay.
And be able to adjust my thinking accordingly.
Gotcha.
For Pisces, they just want to have as much fun as they can. And to Pisces everywhere, I just say, check IDs, make sure they're old enough. Because when Mercury,
What's the birthday on that again? What's
yeah,
the-
Pisces is February 20th to March 20th.
All right, gotcha. Keep my eye out for the
yes,
Pisces.
the
Just
challenge.
Pisces, remember, just 2019 minus 18, 2001.
Yeah.
You're looking
See?
for 2001.
Got to be before that in order to be street legal, exactly. But it's a matter of, also Pisces are a very creative sign. And I think with Mercury, and they're trying to do something that's a byproduct of either love or creativity. And so a lot of them are musicians, a lot of them are artists, because it's a very sensitive kind of sign. And I think that they have some idea that's sort of been nattering around in their head, and they're thinking, maybe I can give life to this now.
All right.
And that now that Mercury is direct, because the hardest thing is figuring out what you're going to do, because the way we manifest things is there has to be a desire, a need for something. You have to have a thought form for the universe to go, oh, okay, now I see what he wants, now I can go ahead and manifest it. It's when you go, oh, I don't know.
I just want to expand really quick. Isn't it crazy that you can bone down somebody that was born in 2001?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. I have a hard time when they call up. I mean, it's like, 2001, how can you even be old enough for this? And then, my players are going, Coach, we're going to be 19.
Yeah, that's
You know,
pretty
go to
crazy.
college,
Sorry,
that's
I don't want to get too off the rails. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I have trouble with that too. For Aries, this energy is in their fourth house of home and foundations. They've been trying to modify their home, to refurbish their home, to rehabilitate their home, to do something to make their home and foundations more stable for them. And they've had a series of setbacks over the last 3 or 4 weeks about that. And finally, those setbacks are over. They can go forward with a plan to either modernize their home, revitalize their home, do something that has to do with making their home a lot safer and more secure for them.
And when you mean home, does it also mean the people that you
The people that you are at
call
home with. If there's been,
yeah.
And a lot of times it's trouble with younger people at home, because Mercury I always read as younger. So it's sort of like your kids at home are giving you a hard time.
And structurally too, of course.
Yes,
yeah, right?
and yes, both of those things, yes. But the big thing is peace at home, tranquility at home, being able to make your home a refuge and a safe place for you to operate out of. For Tauruses, the pace of their day-to-day living picks up. She's not here, but she's got a lot of short distance, short duration travel coming up, a lot of communication coming up.
Talk about
a lot-
AJ, our resident tourist
Yes,
here.
who's not here.
That was mine like a week ago. Short distance, short duration travel. I
Right,
heard that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that
And you
came
were
to
in
fruition
between
for
places,
sure.
right? You were in between places.
Oh
and
yeah, I drove I don't even want to talk about how much I
many
drove a
miles?
U-Haul.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's changed now for Gemini, but for Tauruses, that's what they're headed into: short distance, short duration travel. And it pops up kind of unexpectedly, and you want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, we got a couple days off later in the week, so I imagine she's probably
Wow,
going to
that's
be doing,
kind of nice too.
doing a little travel.
Yeah.
Leisurely, short
Leisurely.
duration travel. Good for you, AJ.
And then for Geminis, you say, what about us? For Geminis, it's about the money. It's getting your finances in order, because Geminis,
Jeez.
they spent a boatload of money trying to get whatever it is that they want.
Right.
And they were spending money on top of money to do the same thing, and that finally ends. So
Okay.
at least whatever
The landslide of spending.
It stopped.
Coming to an end.
Yes,
You know what?
yes.
It's so funny. For the last 2 months, I've just been saying that I'm hemorrhaging money
Yeah,
because
that's exactly right.
moving to a new city without an apartment, blah blah blah. It's easy.
Yeah. And then and then trying to move during a retrograde. God bless you.
Yeah.
You'll not ever do that again.
No, I'll never move again. I'm just gonna live at
Live
this
here
apartment
forever?
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I moved once during a retrograde. I will never do that again.
Yeah.
Because it was just a disaster, because it just ended up costing a fortune. So
Mhm.
the good news is you stop hemorrhaging money. The better news is you start making more money.
Oh, I'm
which
excited
is a
for
good
that to
thing,
happen.
too. Yeah. So there's,
Make up some of the money you lost.
yeah, well.
God, if I made up a quarter of the money I lost,
if you even got
dude.
anywhere near even, you'd be happy. It's true for Geminis, but it's all about getting their money straight. And Geminis are so cute because they act like money's no big thing. Oh, it's no big thing. Most important thing in the world. If they've got money, they don't care about the rest of the world.
Okay,
Their
but make
money's
note of
right.
that. Budgeting is not one of the strong points.
No,
there.
it is not.
Especially
No,
for me,
it
I'm a
is
Gemini, rising Gemini.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I know, and the breeze blows and you change your mind.
True.
Mm.
It's just how Geminis are. They're very
True.
mercurial, is what we like to say.
Also, who's Breeze? Because I'd love to meet her.
Now your
Stupid
girlfriend's
joke.
gonna hear that.
Yeah.
Get trouble there. And then for Cancer, the last sign we're talking about, because Mercury is in their sign, Cancers have been misunderstood. They've had terrible troubles with partners, with relationships, one-to-one relationships. Everything was bad for Cancers for the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. And that finally changes. And more importantly, Cancers find their voice where they're, represented by a creature that has no vocal cords. It's a very hard time for them to articulate what they feel. And they've tried the last 3 or 4 weeks going, you should know, and they don't know. So now it's time for the Cancer to go, okay, let me spell it out for you. And they'll have a much better result doing that.
Wow.
And they'll find that people will go, well, hell, if I would have known that hurt your feelings, I wouldn't have done that. It's like,
Try it
dude,
again.
I have to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Gotcha. And they try that again. The front part of the week, back part of the week.
The whole week,
The whole week?
yeah, because Mercury has just gone direct, so the
Okay.
whole week they'll have a better time. All of this, what we're talking about is trying to undo the damage that was done the last 3 weeks of the retrograde.
Gotcha.
So that's tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac with Mercury finally going direct.
Woo!
Yes, that's your podcast star, guys. August 5th, the week of August 5th here on the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com.